Hey, what's up YouTube? Marco here. I am right outside the community entrance to Calico Ridge. All right. This looks like a really nice neighborhood that we're going to check out today. For reference, this is the church right here. We ended yesterday's video, part 2 of Calico Ridge, right at that church in the parking lot. In part 1 of the video series of Calico Ridge, we were running on the other side of the street, right past that desert structure. All right, but let's get into it. So over here, and this is not a gated community, this is more so a neighborhood. But we are going to just quickly show you the sign, all right? And I'm just gonna run down a straight path. And I gotta say, I drove, through it, getting here. It's gonna be hilly on the way back for sure. But you're gonna see some pretty nice views here. So we'll get right to it. Right here, there's a sign, and it is saying that there's a dip. Take that seriously, because I did not realize what it was talking about. Like, I just thought, we're going down an elevation a little bit. No, like, my car definitely made I didn't go that slow. That truck went a lot slower than I did. Felt like I, heard the bottom of my car hit the road. So don't make that mistake. Over here we got Primrose Lane. I'm not gonna go through the side streets today. The time is, it's probably like 8:30, I think. Maybe a little bit later. It's like 92 degrees out. Just, I've been staying up late, working on some video stuff, and then I gotta wake up at like 5 if I'm gonna try to beat the sun. I gotta say too, these Nike shoes, I'm just not feeling too great running in them. I might have to return them at the store. Over here we have Camelia over here. Again, that'd be something to check out in a different Calico Ridge run video. I'm just gonna kind of focus on the main street right here in this video. Got a great strip view coming up. This is Armillaria Street and Calico Ridge Drive. Just want to talk a little bit about some of the YouTubers. Oh, this house has got the paint with the cactus. Pretty nice. Here's a strip view too. Alright, so let's say you like watching me on YouTube. There's a chance that you might like some of the guys that I watch on YouTube. So I just figured I'd give a little shout out, a little name drop to those YouTubers that in the past I've spent you know, a good amount of time watching, enjoy their content. All right, so one guy would be Ian on YouTube. All right, this guy, he was living in like Palm Desert Springs, somewhere in California. And he was working at 7-Eleven. I mentioned him before on the channel, but this guy, I feel like, was just doing great with the long form content. I loved watching the desert views of Palm Desert Springs. I loved watching him do the tasks at work, talk to customers. It was great stuff to kind of fall asleep to. Positive guy. Another guy that I spent time watching was this miner, like a gold miner. His name was Dan Hurd. And, you know, I'm interested in like the precious metals, and I think that stuff's interesting. And this guy would like YouTube, he would film the whole process of like setting up the equipment and, you know, like doing the whole panning, you running through these machines. There was a lot that would kind of go into these videos, but I thought they were pretty cool. Right now we're at a little park. Nice area. You got the benches here. This is right on Hollyhock Drive and Calico Ridge Drive. Right, there's that strip view. You got right over there. Beautiful views. Right next to this little dog park. If you're in the area, come bring your pup out here. Let's get back to it though. But yeah, Dan Hurd, that was another YouTuber that I enjoyed watching. Another unrelated field would be, I'm into Pokemon cards. I've been into Pokemon cards since, you know, I was a kid. I'm turning 30 end of June. Pokemon's turning 30 this year. I started playing the cards in 2017, that Sun and Moon era, Guardians Rising. And I was playing up until 2021 when my friend Tim Novak had passed away. This guy, met him through Pokemon. He was the man. I'll get into the story more on him later, but after he passed away, I kind of stopped playing for a while. And then I got back into it just this past year. And this one YouTuber, his name's Mimic Brew. He's the guy that's going to sit there and talk about the prices of cards. Not so much the playing, the competitive aspect of it, but, you know, just for some good background stuff to have on, I'll sit there and listen to him go over like the current prices of stuff. Another YouTuber that I would enjoy watching was this guy, Chris Harden. So he's out here, I think he does most like the East Coast at this point, but he was out here going through Illinois. We got Broken Hills, Calico Ridge and Broken Hills right here. Let's make sure you can see that. There we go. Broken Hills. So Chris Harden, he would do these driving videos through towns that, you know, might need some help. You know, maybe towns that have had a mass population leave. You know, maybe it's towns that have, it just seemed like he would be covering towns that might more so be struggling. But he would drive through them and give these detailed insights. And I would watch him and just be like, man, if I could just do this, a little bit more boots on the ground. That's a nice house up there, right up on the mountain. More so boots on the ground and show people Las Vegas, you know, why not? So Chris Harden, he's another guy that I would enjoy watching. What else? I'd be lying if I said I didn't watch a couple Mr. Beast videos. I mean, well, that guy's doing stuff like going into like the pyramids of, you know, like Mayan pyramids, Aztec stuff, we saw the pyramids of Egypt. Like he was showing some stuff that I was really mind blown and impressed on. And then on YouTube too, I'll just kind of like to deep dive, and this is stuff that I'm not so much doing right now because I'm more so working on my own YouTube. But I would love to like deep dive on like Antarctica, or like, you know, I would do some research on, you know, aliens, just like history stuff that I feel like got skimmed over in school but sounded kind of cool. I might look more into that. I don't know. So YouTube's fun. You can always learn stuff on there. Well, I love listening to music and watching music videos. That's another thing. I just feel like if there's a song that you like, look up and see if there's a music video to it. It gives you like the artist, it gives you their like maybe when you listen to a song you've had one kind of mental image about what it's about, which is cool. Still keep that, but you get to see what the artist was thinking when they were coming up with the song, and I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, lots of like, you know, 90s, 2000s music videos, you know, 2010s. Now I feel like music videos they're not too big in the game. It's not music videos and remixes. Just like a straight up, you know, one hip hop artist made this one great rap song. Another guy's gonna take the beat, do a remix to it. I feel like we're missing out on some of that stuff nowadays in hip hop. Over here we have Klondike Court and Calico Ridge. There it is over there. So yeah, I don't know. I would also kind of watch like people walk the streets of cities that I was interested in going to, but YouTubers, another group that I would watch, these guys are called Sports Card Radio. And let's see, we're at another street sign. Oops, there's me again. We're at Shady Run, Calico Ridge. But these guys were Sports Card Radio, and they were definitely long-time sports card guys. And they would almost teach like a bigger message. Like it's more so about the bigger picture than sports cards. They would do a good job using sports cards to teach people, I feel like, about kind of just getting to the next level in life, you know? Which might sound vague, but you know, one guy, he was like his own stuff. He had like an investment channel, you know, and they were just kind of. Now I feel like I've done good in sports cards. I've bought Jalen Brunson rookie cards from 2018 to 2022. You know, so a lot of my cards have definitely went up in value. A lot of people's though maybe have not experienced the same luck, or they're stuck flipping cards, buying them for, you know, 80%, trying to sell them for 90. Like these guys would kind of paint a good bigger picture. So I would spend time watching them. They kind of helped motivate me to move to Las Vegas as well. And what I really liked about these guys and their channel was they would let anybody join on to like this live chat. It was okay. So right here also, I'm at Olsen Street. We saw Olsen Street a couple videos ago where we ran all the way down, right? That over that way, that's going to be the pathway towards the Wells Ice Cream Factory. That's the pathway to the Terrible's gas station. Over on the other side of the road is Tuscany Park over there. All right, over in this direction would be if you're driving towards Lake Las Vegas, right? You're driving towards Wetlands Park, you're driving towards Terrace Park. That's where those cars would be going. I'm going to run back. I'll keep that on camera, actually, I think. Get a little bit more views in case you're liking the Calico Ridge views here, but it's going to be the same path back. Or you know what? Let's take Broken Hills. We'll take Broken Hills back, because I think that's going to also lead me to the same spot and would get you a different view. But Sports Card Radio, these guys were an amazing open platform. Of course, they had the chat, right? But they would actually let people just join on with them. You know, so I think the guy's name was, one was Chris, one was Ryan. And there would be these like usual suspects that would just come on, and honestly, it was pretty unhinged. It was pretty anything goes, BSing about cards, sports. You would have some characters, I'll tell you. Characters were coming on there. And they would, I mean, definitely make it entertaining. So the show would be, you know, probably 4 hours long. These guys would do the live streams, and I think Thursday nights, which is cool. Thursday nights, they would probably talk about stuff. They'll talk about shadiness in the hobby. Kind of, there's always been scammers and stuff like that going on. Give you good updates. And then kind of open the mic, let people come on, talk with them. It was a great product. And then those guys kind of went part-time. They have a website, and they were explaining, you know, we've had this website for years. All they've done is post the checklist of sports cards that are coming out and the calendar for when sports card shows are happening. And they would get the clicks on their website just from that stuff. And they were saying like that's way more money than they'll be making doing other stuff. And you know, they're investing in parking lots or flipping tickets or parking, not flipping tickets, flipping parking. I mean, there's a lot more than just sports cards going on in Sports Card Radio. But love those guys. Would look forward to meeting them one day. I feel like they would be proud of proud of me being a good fan. They've had fans from definitely all places around the world. I did reach out to a couple of these people too. When I got on the YouTube, I subscribed to them and said, hey, started a channel. Thanks for trying to be an inspiration, you know, to doing this. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the Calico Ridge run. This over here is Tuscarora and Broken Hills Drive. It's at a quick view. And this is Tenable Court. Sorry if I'm just butchering these names. But not gonna head back that way. I think that's backtracking. Gonna keep going on Broken Hills Drive. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the World Cup action. I gotta say, I'm not the biggest soccer guy. I don't really watch soccer, but I look forward to catching some of the games. I asked my friend yesterday to kind of just give me like a, you know, an update on the teams, who we got. He likes France winning it all. To show my soccer knowledge, I asked how Italy's looking. He said they didn't even make it. So, not that I don't root for Italy, really. My mom and grandma definitely always root for Italy. I've always said, you know, I'm American. I was born here. I'm rooting for the American teams. More sports talk. Sorry for just talking sports here, jeez. I was excited to see that the Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary fight is going to be happening very soon. I've been a fan of Ian Gary since probably 2022. I feel like, you know, he was going to be pretty good. The future. And he lost pretty closely to that dude, Shavkat. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. His last name starts with a K. But that dude was super hyped up as an undefeated fighter. He only surfaces, I feel like, once a year, if that. He hasn't been back since the fight with Ian Gary, which might tell you who actually won that fight. But Ian Gary almost won. I felt like Ian Gary could have won. So, we're going back on Calico Ridge Drive right now. Gonna end this video real soon. But yeah, if the other dude hasn't fought in over a year since fighting Ian Gary, and Ian Gary's had, I think, 2 or 3 fights since, you know, who took more damage in that fight? But nonetheless, looking forward to this upcoming fight. You also got Conor McGregor going to be in the next card, I think, in July. Should be pretty exciting. And you know, Vegas also, this is a fighting city. UFC is always coming here, so I think this is a good town too, where people actually like talk about the fight. You know, there's always the fight coming up. I love how everybody becomes, not that I'm any expert, far from an expert, but I love how everybody has, you know, these great fighting takes, opinions when it comes down to it. I think that's super fun. And I was saying too, I love how, you know, it's a league that it always continues. There's no off season. You know, the Knicks winning the championship was awesome. Now I gotta wait a while to see some more basketball from them. So, and once you kind of get a good fan base of the fighters, there's always somebody that you know on a card once you've watched for a couple years. Should be back at that church parking lot soon. If you hear me breathing heavy, this is a steep climb, I gotta say. Just a little view of where I'm coming down or coming up from. I don't know if this does a good job showing the hill. started wearing the tank top. Can't be going into my birthday with the farmer's tan. So, gonna try to get this evened out. I don't even know if it's possible at this point, but we'll see. This is again the street of Armillaria. Armillaria Street in Calico Ridge Drive. I've actually done a video driving through Calico Ridge at night. It's one of my earlier videos. These are all earlier videos. I mean, this is probably video 24 out of, by the time I finish this project, it's going to be in the thousands. So these are all early videos. But one of my very early videos is a night drive through Calico Ridge. Here's that dip that I'm gonna warn you guys about. Again, in case you missed it the first time, take this dip seriously. It definitely will at least sound like it's hitting the bottom of your car if you don't slow down, as I did earlier today. Here it is. Here's the dip. Let's get a good look at it. I mean, how? How is this so critical? It's crazy. I mean, it almost looks totally flat. That's like hardly a dip, but it definitely is effective. Don't not slow down. Slow down. That would be proper English. My apologies. Okay, I think we missed this street sign too on the way down. This is Candy Tuft. Where we at? Candy Tuft Drive and Calico Ridge Drive. Nice cactuses. Pretty cool landscaping right there. There's a look up Candy Tuft Drive. We'll go through these side streets. I might come here with a bike, to be honest. It's not gonna happen tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna get a bike and bike up and down all those side streets and get you that boots on the ground look. But this is gonna be the start of the outro. I'm about to be right at the exit of the neighborhood. About to be right by the church. There's the sign. YouTube, thank you for joining me today on this run through the Calico Ridge community neighborhood area. And in our previous videos, check out the detailed look at the shopping. Right in Calico Ridge Part 2, I show you all of the restaurants, the businesses that are tucked right here. What would be all of your local spots. And then on the other side of the road, I covered that as well. So YouTube, thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate you. Best of luck, health, and happiness. Take care.